Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Mal with Made by Manny and Mal. In today's video, I'm coming at you with another fall themed tutorial. In this one, I really wanted to focus on ombre glitter from a darker color to a lighter color. So we're doing a very basic, simple glitter ombre today. I really hope you enjoy the tutorial. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We upload new videos every single Tuesday and Saturday. I have a ton of info for you down in the description box as always. We have links to our social media, links to our Facebook group, and of course, everything I'm using in this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, send me a message on Instagram. I'm here to help you and I will help you in any way I can. I appreciate you all so much, and thank you so much for all of your support and for watching my videos. I hope you enjoy the video. Let's go. For our ombre, we're going to be using a 16-ounce travel mug from the Steel Magnolia. These are super cute and I really like them. So the first step is to prep our cup. I sanded it down with an 80 grit sanding block and then sprayed it with 91% rubbing alcohol. And now I'm taking a coffee filter to clean off all of that dirty residue that's on there. So now we're going to paint our ombre. I'm using mustard from Montana Colors, which is literally like the perfect fall color. And I'm going to take that up the bottom half of the cup to start to build our base color for our ombre. So your base does not have to be perfect, although it definitely helps. You'll see kind of throughout the video, I got a little bit of this orange paint up at the top of the cup, and you can see it through the glitter just the slightest bit, and it will really make a difference. So try to be as clean as possible with your colors, like staying where they're supposed to be, but your fade that you build with your paint does not have to be perfect. So keep your colors where they're meant to be, but don't worry about painting a perfect ombre. For the top of the cup, I'm taking flat white from Rustoleum, and I'm just gonna go back and forth between those colors until I have a fade that I'm pretty happy with. I let the paint dry about 45 minutes, and then I applied a very thin coat of epoxy because we're going to use the epoxy method to apply our glitter. This gives us the longest working time, and it's just, I feel, the easiest way to apply glitter, especially when you're gonna be applying a lot of glitter and building up an ombre. So the first color we're taking is Pumpkin from Peachy Olive Glitters. This is a chunky cut, so we want to start with our bigger cuts of glitter first, and we're going to go really light at first and then build up our color afterwards. So with Pumpkin, I'm just kind of shaking a little bit at a time onto the cup and bringing it a little bit above where I painted. We don't want to bring too much into the white at this point, but we want it to kind of start to creep up there just a little bit. You want to be very gentle and soft with your shaker so you don't get too much up there and then you have to take it off. Next, we're taking Czar from PDB. This is a chunky kind of goldish color I wanted to use to help build our blend a little bit better. And I'm doing the same motion that I did with Pumpkin. I'm kind of just shaking down the color, aiming more towards the top of where we put that pumpkin color. So I'm just doing quick little shakes here, how I'm showing you, and trying not to get too much glitter coming out of the shaker. I did get a little bit in some places, but it's okay, we can build over it. Don't worry too much, just try not to get a big like glob of glitter coming out of your shaker. Next, we're going to go up to the white. We're taking Oracle from PDB. This is a beautiful chunky white, and we're just going to start to shake it down from the top. So we're holding our cup at a downward angle and we're shaking from the top down. With your lighter color, you can be a little bit more heavy-handed because what you really want to do is cover that surface area with your white so that when you go in with your dark color, that dark color doesn't have anywhere to stick to because you've already covered that surface area with your light color. I hope that makes sense. So next we're taking ONCA, which is a fine white, and we're going to fill in that space and start to build up the white coverage in that lighter area. And then when we build up with our orange, that orange won't have a ton of area to stick to up at the top of the cup because we've already filled it in with our white. Next we're taking Orangutan from PDB, and this is a beautiful like burnt rusty orange, and it has such a rich color. I love it so much. I'm going to cover the bottom of the cup with this and then start to bring it up from the bottom. Since this is such a dark orange color, I'm going to try to keep it concentrated mostly at the bottom of our cup and just shake the tiniest bit up into the middle. The next color we're going to grab is Bozeman from Peachy Olive Glitters. This is a super fine burnt orange color, and we're really kind of starting to build up a little bit more coverage here. We're going a little bit more heavy-handed with our finer cuts of glitter, and I'm holding my cup at a somewhat steep angle, and I'm really just letting this glitter fall and really start to come up into the white section. Because this is such a fine cut, it's not going to make a huge impact. It's just going to help us build our blend a little better. I'm going to do the exact same thing with our white portion. I'm taking this diamond dust glitter from CRAZE, and I'm going pretty heavy with this, not super crazy, but I did take the lid off and let this really flow. So this is going to just help kind of clean up the blend, maybe blur the lines a little bit more. And then we're going to go in with Freckles, which is another super fine orange color. This is a little bit brighter than the ones we've used so far. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing that we did with Bozeman. I'm holding my cup at a pretty steep angle, and I'm turning it really, really quickly as I'm pouring the glitter on so that we don't get a big dump of glitter in one area. Now, if you only have maybe a few colors that you want to ombre, as long as you have a chunky and a fine of each of your colors that you're going to ombre, you will be totally fine. You don't have to use a billion colors like I did. You can get a really good and beautiful fade with a chunky and a fine of each color. So finishing up this fade, I took Brite from Peachy Olive Glitters and really just covered the entire cup with it to help blend our fade a little bit more, and then went back in with Orangutan on the orange portion and just went back and forth between those two colors until I was happy with the blend of our ombre and how it looked. So then I tapped off all of the excess. I did that multiple times throughout the process. You want to do that basically in between each color to make sure you're not contaminating your super white colors especially. And then I took a little piece of parchment paper and I just tapped down all of our glitter. Since we used so many and we used a lot of chunky, we want to make sure that that's laying flat because we don't want to have to sand a ton after epoxy. I sealed our glitter with 2 coats of Rustoleum 2x clear gloss spray, and then I went in with my first 2 coats of epoxy. I'm using about 20 milliliters for each coat, letting them dry about 4 to 6 hours in between each one. And of course, I'm using a little extra ink epoxy. One thing to keep in mind when you do your first coat of epoxy on your cup is to seal with your epoxy your lighter color first and then work your way down. Even though we spray sealed this, you can never be too sure. So I started at the very top with my white and then worked my epoxy down into those darker sections because it's not as big of a deal if you get your lighter color into your darker color as you move down, but it would be the opposite way around. So just keep that in mind as you apply your first coat of epoxy. For the decal for this cup, we're taking a PNG that I got from Happy Frills, and I printed it out on water slide paper. I'm using clear water slide from Hayes Paper Company, and I also cut out a just regular vinyl version of this image. I just brought this into my Silhouette studio and changed the color and cut it out in just regular white Oracal 651 vinyl. Because I want our image to stand out on this dark orange color, we're going to lay the white vinyl down first and then we'll put the clear water slide over it. So here I'm just applying my decal using the hinge method. I did separate the spice from the rest of the quote because this cup has a little bit of a curve and a little bit of a taper in. I wanted to make sure that everything was going to lay flat and smoothly and not give me any frickin' drama. So first I'm applying that top portion using the hinge method, making sure everything is down smooth, and then I'm going to repeat the same exact process with the spice at the bottom. As I'm applying this spice word, I want to make sure that I'm putting it down as carefully as possible. I'm putting it down kind of letter by letter, as you can see here, making sure that it's going to lay smoothly as it goes over that curve. This decal, just with the sizing and everything, happens to curve in the middle of the word. So I want to make sure as I'm laying this down that everything is smooth and flat and isn't going to crinkle or anything as it goes over that curve. So once I've got my decal on here, I'm going to cut out my water slide. I've already sealed this with 3 coats of Rustoleum 2x clear gloss spray. I wait about 20 minutes in between each coat, and I use the water slide fairly quickly after I do that final coat. You don't want to seal these and then just let them sit around and then put them in your water. For whatever reason, they work much better if you seal them and then use them pretty immediately after. So just like we did with our decal version, we're going to separate the word spice from the rest of the quote. I'm going to throw it in my room temperature water, get my decal in my cup just a little bit wet to help me reposition this water slide. And once it's ready, I'm going to pull it out of my water and apply just like normal. I'm using the vinyl, of course, as a guide, trying to get this lined up the best I can. If you don't get it lined up perfectly, it'll just look like a little bit of a white offset on your water slide, which kind of gives it a little bit more depth. So don't worry about making this perfect. It's going to look great no matter what. Even here, I'm not getting it super perfect, but I do like how the little bit of white kind of peeks out because it does kind of look like a little bit of an offset. Once I've got the backing paper pulled out, I'm going to take my silicone little makeup brush here and just brush out very gently any air bubbles, water pockets, anything like that on my water slide to make sure that it is down and smooth. I'm going to repeat the exact same application process for spice, and once that's done, we will be back for our final steps. Once our water slide decal is applied, I'm taking a coffee filter and just pressing out any extra water that's hanging out around our water slide. You don't need to get this completely dry at this point, but I just like to push out any water and then let it dry maybe about 4 hours before I apply my epoxy. You don't need to let this dry overnight, and you don't need to seal it once it's on your cup. You should be good to go. As long as it's completely dry, you can just go straight into your epoxy. Going into our final coats of epoxy, I'm doing 2 final coats of about 20 milliliters each, of course, using a little extra ink epoxy. And once that was all cured, we were all done. These fall glitter colors are getting me right in the feels. I cannot wait to have a pumpkin spice latte this October. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. Anyway, I hope you loved this tutorial, and I hope it helps you build your dark to light ombres. If it does, please let me know in the comments, and if you decide to recreate this design, please be sure to tag me at Made by Manny and Mal on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you are not already. And I think that's it for me. I'll see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.